It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, beginning at verse beginning at verse 3. And it reads, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man may deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." Skipping to verse 12. "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam La Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, Hashem Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles that taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwath out there listening and learning, Lord willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad and the land of other nations appearing like the other nations whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. It's the brother Yahweh Sup, and I'm coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. This lesson was inspired through the Spirit based on the article I came across on my Newsbreak app. I think I came across it on this other app I got, but Newsbreak is, brother put me on the Newsbreak too. So salute to that brother. But anyhow, this is in our area, and I always talked about how, the elder brother from the West, he be noticing a lot of stuff going on in Ohio and Cleveland. So I'll be getting a lot of information from watching that brother page. But, I did a video earlier within a year when they talking about they was finding hate speech on Huff. Now, if you're familiar with Cleveland and Huff is infamous for the infamous Huff riots, where Jake lived in those neighborhoods, but Jake was so tired and frustrated, and you had the the Black Panthers and the Black Student Union and all these organizations pretty much was fed up, and they burnt up and tore up their own shit, But they was finding racist posters in that area, and now you're finding them in this one. So the scriptures talk about race riots, So that being said, I'm gonna jump into the article a little bit. It says racist sign sparks controversy in Cleveland, Tremont neighborhood. And it's funny because when I was homeless, that was like the area, because the spirit led me to the west side. If I'd have stayed on the east side, I'd died. And I bring that out here and there, but and the crazy part is, before I completely became homeless, I was on the east side, and somebody put me on to going on the west side if you was ever hungry. And I went like 30 days without being around. I was living off like a highway pass, but it looked at wooded. It was a wooded area, so you couldn't see nobody was staying up there. And it was summertime, so you get away with it to a degree. Not to the degree I got away with it, so what I mean. But after a certain amount of time, the Lord was like, you got to go that way. So He put it on my spirit to go that way, or the Holy Spirit put it on my, the Holy Spirit, showed me the direction to go. So it says racist sign sparks controversy in Cleveland's Tremont neighborhood. It says Cleveland, Ohio. Neighbors in the Tremont neighborhood are outraged after racial signs were found around their neighborhood. And this is the second incident that happened in the Tremont area. It makes me mad. I don't understand why this is going on. One man told 19 News. I was out there on the highways and hedges just the other day. What day was that? I want to say Saturday. Yeah, because I was gonna call myself going out Saturday and Sunday, but it rained all Sunday. I thought it was gonna rain Saturday. Called Lawyer like, "Yeah, I want me outside." It didn't rain, but now it's been raining for the last 2 days. They say it may rain on New Year's Eve. So if it rain, I might just start doing like indoor lessons because the truth still got to go on. I go out. It's just I don't. And I'm about to buy me another umbrella though. But yeah. Well, the point of me bringing that up because when I went out on Saturday, I was just speaking and I was making a statement. I said, well, all these Edomites are upset about DJ. I mean, pretty much all the migrants, which some of the migrants are Jakes. A lot of them are for real, but or Israelites rather. So some of the migrants are Israelites. We already know about the Haitians and whatnot, but you got multiple different. They just basically opened the whole border to everybody. That's how that's another indication of how this bitch is over with. You know, you can see the steps they being laid. You got all these undocumented people here. And they want a sense of order. They want to know who is who. So even to their own people. So you gotta remember the elder was speaking on, with this whole situation open up like that, they can go door to door, you know, on some Nazi Germany type shit. But I was out there and I was speaking on, I was like, well, all you so-called white people was upset at the migrants. Why you ain't upset at your administration that let them in? And the Edomite got angry to the point he turned red. And I'm like, so his bitch trying to keep him quiet because they was coming from getting some food. He was about to turn back and look, but I'm watching him the whole time. So he, his bitch got him under control because if he could have got bad as that bitch. But the point being, long story short, though, he have like these black guys, and I'm like, why don't you just call me a nigga? That's what you want to. He never said the word nigga, but he was like, he just, shook his head. And I'm like, I take that, I wear that with honor. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, in your mind, I prefer to know who really is really feeling like that. That's how you know who to fucking avoid. It's the ones that be them snakes that bite you and all these motherfucking snakes on this plane. You good if you know that one. No, that was a joke. But long story short, like again, the racial tension is in the air. It's all it's gonna take is a needle. You know what I mean? It says neighbors in Tremont neighborhood are outraged after racist signs were found around their neighborhood. It makes me mad. I don't understand why this is going on. One man told 19 News, "These are some of the signs tipsters found and sent to us. Embrace your race and white unity." I wonder if I could blow that up. Nope, you won't be able to. Says, I should take a picture of it for the next one. It says, in the left hand corner of one of the flyers is the name and logo of a company called Rise Wheel to Rise. In 2023, the company was listed on the Southern Poverty Law Center's list of white national hate groups. Now the thing is, they gonna come after everybody. That's what I'm saying. Jake was the elder brother just did a video talking about how all those churches that was getting the 501c3 pretty much they could like anybody getting the 501c3 they could investigate to see okay if you tied into this or investigate so because Esau about to do a super power grab. You know what I mean? Like this shit about to be gangster. You know what I mean? Like you can't never deny the fact that how gangster Esau play his hand. Like Esau, that motherfucker the first gangster. You got to understand these things. He the first thug. He the first drug dealer. You know what I mean? Like this motherfucker making point, and he good at doing some shit and pointing at another person. Tremont is just an inviting and welcome community, said Ryan Brown, which is not true. Them Edomites hate niggas, you know what I mean? Because again, it's certain like shelter, well not shelters, but like churches and whatnot that feed people. I know one off the top of my head that literally everybody used to congregate at. Like in the winter when it was so cold, you come in there and at least warm up. You know what I mean? You can come in there from when they opened up at like 5 or 6 in the morning and leave at like I think after lunch, and then you could come back at dinner time. So that wasn't much, but at the same time it was a lot. If you ain't got nowhere to go, that's the Lord preserving. Because I was able to actually, I'm still here because I utilized those things. You know, it says Tremont is just an inviting and welcome community, but you could see that you had hardcore racist Edomites, and I wasn't mad at them. They never sit up there and nigga this, nigga that, but you could feel when a motherfucker don't like you. You know what I mean? That's spiritual. We just love everybody here. That's a spirit. So it's just shocking of all places for that to happen here. The scriptures talk about the skirts being revealed, this place being exposed, no thing being hidden. They won't come to the light. That's so spiritual how much shit is coming out, with the East Cleveland shit, with the corruption, the Justice Center, with all different kind of shit. Now with this, the racism of this community. Because Tremont is like kind of a wealthy little city of Cleveland. Our team went to Professor Avenue where some of the signs were spotted, but we couldn't find them. That's funny because when I had a union job one time, and the bar that the crackers used to like to go to was on Professor. Brown tells us he found about the Brown tells us he found about Slocket. Brown tells us he found out about the flyers on Facebook, just kind of encouraging us to rip them down. Essentially, said Brown, we don't want that stuff in our community ever, so it's just not acceptable for us. Our team did reach out to Councilman Kerry McCormick for comment on the posters and them being taken down, and he responded with this statement below. There was another one, which I probably won't even get. Let me see if it say anything different though. Same thing, but it says, okay, here go on. Every other race looks out for each other. Isn't it time white people do the same? Race right, baby. X is a poster found at Clark Field. That flyer is just one of several Tremont residents. Who are outraged over finding this week. Megan Jones Turner told me she was walking her dogs at the Clark Field Trail that begins at West 11th Street and Clark Avenue this weekend. The sign she found said, "We are approximately 4% of the world's population. If it's gone, everyone will look Asian or African. Protect us." Yeah, this thing about to go down. You know what I'm saying? It's too many things just teetering. You ever seen something like, you ever like bumped into a table and it vibrates and it was an object or an item on the table that it kind of moves to the edge? Like everything is at the edge. It says the poster also included a hashtag OWLM, which stands for Only White Lives Matter. It's very disheartening. It's very disappointing that people feel this way, also making it into something that is about race. Let me show something real quick. It says it was very disheartening. It's very disappointing that people feel this way, also making it into something that is about race. People will look out for one another, I feel like, just because that's the right thing to do. That you're actually making more division by pointing out differences rather than finding the things that unite you and make you the same, Jones Turner said. But the thing is, we're not the same. The scriptures tell you in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6 that the Most High, or Israel, the Most High made Israel separate, or Kodash, meaning holy separate. We are apart from all the other nations. And you got to remember things like this. The scriptures talk about it being enmity between the serpent seed and the woman seed. And that's forever, So, with all that, I'm about to just bring out some scriptures. I read Matthew chapter 24. It's the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2. And it reads 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1, and reads, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come." Perilous is the word kalapes, meaning dangerous or fierce, hard to bear, hard to do, hard to survive. So we're gonna be living in dangerous time, and it's because it's gonna be race wars. It's gonna be people. Scriptures talk about everybody going back to their own country. says, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. And this whole spirit of everybody being together, but that's not the will of Yahweh Shem Shah. Again, the Lord divided the lands and put, he gave each nation their own heritage, their own land, because the Lord is a separatist. Verse 3, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, meaning lawless, fierce, despisers of those that are good. So I want to see without natural affection. Salakia. The word.
Strong's G 794. Astargas. Astargas.
It says without natural affection, unsociable, unloving. So nobody's going to have care for one another. I'm talking about, the scriptures talk about how families going to fight within each other. So how much more so one nation of people against another nation of people. Let me get this. Jeremiah. It's the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15, starting at verse 1, and it reads, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity or unbelief of them trouble thee that speaketh against thee. Scriptures talk about it's a foolish thing, unto the world of us prophesying or believing in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. What's that? I think Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, when it talks about pretty much, I forgot how exactly it's worded, but it talks about, see, now you're making me about to get it, because I don't even have that, well, I got a little time. It talks about how, say, the one wait to see if his God saves him, roughly paraphrase. For the ungodly say a reasoning with themselves, but not all right. Our life is short and tedious, and in death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. It says, let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. And when you go into, how this devil has the power of the sword, he can make unrighteous decrees, how he how he made mischief with law, roughly paraphrase, Psalms chapter 94. This devil, one of his tools, he has the actual sword that he can kill with, but he also uses the pen as a sword. It says verse 12, therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous. And who are the righteous? So-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians. The hopeful elect, the remnant, because only the remnant is going to be pushing righteousness throughout the earth. It's a righteous thing to go and proclaim the name of the Lord. It's a righteous thing to chant down Babylon. It's a righteous thing to call out wickedness. What's that? Ephesians chapter 5. It talks about rather rebuking evil or reproving it. Says, therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean, contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objective to our infamy, the transgressions of our education. He professeth to have the knowledge of the Most High, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And that's what we call, ourselves, all of the brothers that's doing this work, all the sisters that believe, all all you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians that have repented and turned from this world and turned back to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And they hate that. He is grievous to us even to behold, for his life is not like other men's, his ways are of another fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. Scriptures talk about how the righteous is the abomination to the wicked, and the wicked is an abomination to the righteous. You know, what's that? Sirach chapter 33. The Lord made two against two. And make of his boast that the Most High is his Father. Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. And and at the end of the day, they're going to ultimately test that. And those that are actually of the Lord's, they're going to resist even unto death. Some ain't going to have to resist unto death because it's a lot for them to be rescued, delivered, spiritual powers. Everybody's not going to taste death on the side. But those that are going to be martyrs, they're going to have a spirit for that. The thing I've learned out of the years I've been in this truth, and I'm a baby in this truth, is accepting your lot. You know what I mean? I don't know what my lot is. And you could sometimes drive yourself crazy trying to figure things out. So that's why it's good to just, like Paul said, I'm a slave to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. He's not doing his will, he's doing the Lord's will. And sometimes you can be presumptuous. But, I look at certain things and I'm like, I know myself, and I know, I was listening to the elder brother say something like sometimes the Lord wants you to just like sit back and just be patient and suffer a little bit. Sometimes it ain't about, and I heard two brothers say that, and I understand that. And I get what he's saying, but I've suffered through a lot. So, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not speaking on or saying to say that they were speaking on my situation or anything. I'm just saying, I believe this was this was the if I was to go into, like I said again, if you think I'm vocal now, I don't even tell a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like everybody's set up for a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like I was looking and noticing certain pictures that brothers use on their videos, and I'm like, damn. Now when I had braids and hair, I was like, damn. So I was just certain little things. I don't know. Again, only the Lord know what He got to set up for you. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised. If I told you what my daughter said, it lightweight broke my heart and made me love this little girl even more. I was like, God damn. Because I had to give them the realization that if you don't have nobody coming to save you. You know what I'm saying? The only family they had was the brothers. And the brothers, some brothers didn't even know my kid's name. So, like, can I really guarantee that if something happened to me, they was going to... So, and I'm not saying that it wasn't going to happen like that. You don't know what the Lord's going to do. But at the same time, it's just like, I remember something that the elder from Chicago said about his child, and I thought about it, and I'm like, damn, that wasn't like that with mine. So I wondered, was it me? Which it could be me, because you got to remember, people tend to, if they feel some kind of way about an individual, they'll treat, your people's like that. They'll treat, you know what I mean? And people might not realize they do it, but people do that. That's just human nature. I don't give a fuck how humble you try to be. You know what I mean? That's why most people that can really fight be some of the most humble people, because they know what they could do to you. But even, that's why they say let a sleeping giant or a sleeping giant lay sleeping or stay sleeping, or roughly paraphrase. You don't want to rouse the beast. 650. So we gonna be tested with that. You're gonna have to prove that you really love Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Bear with me for a second. So 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 1 says, I read that already. I think I said verse 3, fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. The scriptures talk about the 4 swords judgments, roughly paraphrase. I know it's in Ezekiel. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Skipping verse 14. Woe to the world and to them, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. And what's the modern day sword? Which is a gun. You got one nation of people fighting against another nation of people. And it's spiritual how they just let the borders be wide open, and you had all these different nations of people come here. Now, a lot of them, again, are Israelites. You got different tribes of Israelites. You had Venezuelans. You had Haitians. But you got also like Russians, Chinese, or we know them as Moabites. Russians are the Edomites. They're just in the land of Japhet. Or the land of Magog and Gog and Magog. You but at the end of the day, you got a lot of different nations of people that just came here, and when things get shut down, and when shit hit the fan, these people all going to eat themselves. You know what I mean? Because that's the spirit in this place. That whole spirit of what 2 Timothy chapter 3 talks about. Men will be lovers of their own selves, covetous. Blasphemers. So verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So they're gonna try to take the power in their own hands. They're not gonna listen to law or these politicians. They're gonna do what they feel they need to do for their family and themselves. Look at all these jobs, these people being laid off left and right. These people are going to go completely apeshit. This is the book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. I'm going to end with this, because this is the time of Jacob's trouble. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 30, beginning at verse 4, and it reads, and these are the words that the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, Yahweh meaning he is, he exists, or he to be, by Hashem meaning in the name, Yahushua meaning he saves or he deliverer, true names of the Most High God and the Son. We ignorantly call God and Jesus Christ, but whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. We have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Because, the scriptures talk about in the book of Ecclesiastes, the time for war and the time of peace. We're not in the time of peace. This war on the earth. Shit, they talk about World War III has started. You got Russia bumping heads with Babylon the Great and NATO. Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America and NATO. You got China or Moab bumping heads with America, a.k.a. Babylon the Great. And just like in past with ancient Rome, you got America stretched out between trying to fight all these these wars with all these different nations. And they're going to lose horribly. Verse 6. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. I forgot how that's worded, but it's basically like when you see in the man's countenance when how they like on the cartoons when cartoons will see a ghost and their faces turn pale, like that's my best comparison I can give to that. But you can see fear in a man's eyes. Verse 7, alas, for that day is great. You can see it in the woman's eyes. You can see it in the person's eyes, period. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And who is the he? The he is the remnant, the hopeful elect, which the Most High had created from the beginning of the earth. Salaki, that the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua created from the beginning of the world, from the foundation of the earth, to be exempt from the coming judgments. So if you are so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole, Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rachakodash, or you will be destroyed. And with that, all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Elohim La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rachakodash. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the fellow Akim around the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aquat out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to the truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, Lord willingly. I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom. Kwame Asharala. And Wath Lababal.